Thanks for checking in with us here at the Game Brew Podcast. You can find us online at facebook.com/theGame... Oh, fucking fuck.
Oh, Ian.
I've done this half a six-pack.
That's three. That's 3 beers. That's three times.
Guys. That's 3.
All right, so I'm going to drink some more beer and then try this again.
Yeah, that should help.
Hello and welcome to the Game Brew Podcast, episode 007 on June 20th, 2017. I'm your host, Ian Richard, and I'm here this week with Dan Rotz.
Hi.
Chris Wrights.
Hey.
And Will Shell.
Hey.
Today, we're going to talk about our favorite games within games, and we'll react to all the big news coming out of E3. But first, it's time for beer.
It's fresh.
Chris, what are we drinking this week?
All right. So this isn't the first time I think we've had Dogfish Head, but it's the first time in a while. It's a Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. Do you guys know why it's called 60-minute IPA?
I
Because
don't.
that's how long they boil it for.
I do
Nope.
know that I've been drinking it
What?
for 120 minutes now.
The reason it's called 60-minute IPA is because it's continually hopped for 60 minutes. So, and at the brewery, they show you the original hopper. It's this big piece of shit that they basically like makes it so it shakes hops continuously into the pot that they're brewing it in. But it's pretty good. It's a cool concept. It was apparently one of the first continually hopped beers ever made.
Nice.
That's what they say, at least.
I like it now that I'm 3 deep into it. When I first cracked
You
open
drank
the
3
first
already? Dude, we just started.
I had to.
It's amazing.
I had to get ready. My first one I didn't
Just
like.
fucking
Now I like
pounded
it. I knew it was an IPA a third of the way through my first one because a third of the way through my first one, I had to pause and take a shit.
You couldn't tell
That's how I knew it was an IPA.
right at the beginning?
Does that usually happen to you when you drink beer? Or is that only for IPAs?
It's just an IPA thing. Now that's out in the internet, I can't take that back.
No,
you
forever
can't.
gone.
That's also weird.
That's very strange. I've never heard of that happening.
neither.
IPAs are hard on the stomach.
Not mine.
Yeah, but that doesn't. It's weird that it makes you.
Whatever. I've been drinking it for 120 minutes. You guys are just starting, so I don't want to hear it.
No, it's nice. I'm getting a little coffee on the tongue. I don't know if that's a normal thing for this or if there's just coffee in my cup, but I like it.
I'm not getting coffee. I'm definitely getting some fruit sensation. I don't want to say orangey, but definitely a
Citrus.
citrusy sort of thing.
It's pretty chill. Pretty chill IPA.
It's pretty easy going. It's not the most crisp IPA I've ever had, but it is good.
Yeah, it's a 60. If we wanted to get real messed up, we should have done the 90. Do that for...
Yeah, I was thinking
do
about
that
that,
for-
but
We
The
could have done
120.
that. I was like looking at it. I was like,
120 is hard to find.
120. They only brew that every once in a while.
Well,
though.
it's not that I don't even know if it's that. I think it's just that it's hard for them to make and they mess it up a lot and like they don't want to release it unless it's exactly perfect. And it's hard for them to do that for whatever reason.
All right, guys, what have we been playing this week?
lots of things. I think.
Don't
some of
everybody
us-
jump
some
in
of
at
us.
once now.
I've been super busy these past 2 weekends because I've been gone to 2 music festival type things. So I've been traveling a lot and I haven't the first music festival was kind of a gaming and music festival. So I brought a Raspberry Pi and I played some Fire Emblem, like the Game Boy Advance
Nice.
Fire Emblem out there.
Nice.
On your Raspberry Pi. That's
On my
kinda awesome.
Raspberry Pi in the woods. Yep.
If you didn't know what you were talking about, that would be the weirdest sentence ever.
Oh, well,
know.
maybe one of you can explain Raspberry Pi because some people might not know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a Raspberry Pi is a tiny little microcomputer about the size of a smartphone, and I have it loaded up with a thing called RetroPie, which is a bunch of different emulators loaded onto it. So I can play a bunch of like Super Nintendo stuff and Game Boy, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to get back into some of those classic games. And I brought it with me because if it got messed up, I wouldn't care that much because they're only $35. So I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Nice. Dan?
I haven't been playing as much of things aside from when I was playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds with Ian. We do that every once in a while just because
And it's fun.
His wife is getting mad at the amount of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds that we're playing with each other. Just
He was
because.
getting jealous because we're spending too much time together.
Yes,
That's so
everybody
cute.
Ian's wife is jealous of me, and I've been spending some time in Stardew Valley. Can't leave that.
You've been there a while.
I did accidentally get my brother and sister-in-law horribly addicted to Stardew Valley, though.
Wait. Stardew Valley is the one you were talking about a few episodes ago, where you like grow beans and you got like a farm and.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll be back.
like-
I'll be back
I'm
in like 10
62
minutes
hours,
when you're done.
62 hours in right now.
Will's a fucking hater. Jesus.
You've spent 62 hours growing beans and carrots.
I'm
You've never
also-
played it, so you
I'm
have
also-
nowhere to talk.
Courting a lady. I've been
Oh.
growing some stuff. I've been mining.
Okay, I will make you guys a deal. When we hit our 100th subscriber,
Okay.
I will spend 100 minutes straight playing Stardew Valley.
You gotta make it a flat
gotta-
2 hours at
No,
least.
I got
2
it. I got
Okay.
no. I got to
I will
amend that a
spend
little bit.
1,000 minutes playing Stardew Valley.
1,000 minutes. That's
I'll add a zero.
Let's get our calculators out.
okay.
1,000 minutes.
1,000 minutes.
That's
okay.
16.667 repeating, of course, hours.
Yes, repeating.
Will, you're honor bound to that now. So
Yeah,
so
you have to do
when that happens, you're gonna have to come back and talk about your 16.66 repeating hours of starting
Just so you know, my girlfriend's put in 115 hours.
I don't even want to know how you all can do that on the game. Anyways, Dan,
It's
as
a
you
great
were,
game.
But as I was saying, I got my brother and sister-in-law horribly addicted to it because I had it on my computer and I was playing it. And my brother was like, "Oh, what's that?" I said Stardew Valley, and he was watching me play it. He was like, "Oh, that looks kind of neat." So he played a little bit on my computer, and then he was on his Xbox and he was saying, "Oh, hey, look, Stardew Valley is on here. Maybe I should do that so I don't have to get on your computer to play it." I was like, "Hey, man, if you want to do that, that's fine." So we did. Now, my brother and his wife actually like see who can get home first sometimes, just so they can play like Stardew Valley. The other day, Brad came home and he came home from work and Jen was sitting there playing Stardew Valley. He was like, "It's my turn."
How can it be your turn? You just got home.
But more so, I played this game that I got on the Humble Bundle. It's called Maze.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked at
Corn maze.
Yeah, it kind of. It's Maize. So it's like a maze, but also corn. I think it describes itself as a bunch of scientists misread a government notice saying that they had to do something with corn. So they didn't know what it was. So they just create sentient corn. I finished it. I played it from the beginning to end. It was 3 hours. And it was, it was a nice little game. It was pretty easy kind of puzzle solving. Like you go find a thing that solves this puzzle and then you do this. It's kind of weird. It's funny. It's definitely a funny game, but it's a pretty short experience. It came out in December.
Isn't it kind of supposed to be like a horror game, but not really a horror game? It kind of gave me that vibe,
If you look at it, it looks like a horror game.
like
but
Five
then
Nights
once
at Freddy's kind of thing.
Well, you look at it from the outside, it looks like that. But then once you actually start playing it, it's way goofier. Like everything's
Yeah.
goofy.
It's got a just from what I've heard you guys say about it, it has a very Attack of the Killer Tomatoes vibe.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. It's less like once you start playing it, you're like, "Oh, is this corn going to jump out at me?" But then like the corn has British accents and and there's like post-it notes that are left by the two lead scientists that you have never seen, but there's just post-it notes all over the place. And like one of them's like, "Hey Ted, just so you know, I got a really good deal on all these statues." And then the other one says, "Why did you order 7,000 statues? We didn't need that. There's no reason for have statues of yourself all over the place." And then he has another post saying, "Oh, sorry, Ted. I'll purchase some more for you there later. I got to see how much they'll cost, though. Might be a little while." And then so on. It's kind of funny.
Silliness.
Yeah,
Silliness.
it's not very expensive. It's a nice little experience. It's if you like games that have fun, fun stories that you can just kind of play and then be done with. It's totally a good game. I really like it a lot.
I'm looking forward to it. I've been meaning to play it.
So this past week, I was in Michigan taking a class.
Michigan?
And well, yes, the state of Michigan.
Sorry.
So I had the opportunity to take my Switch on the road for the first time, which was really exciting because
that's awesome.
sitting in the airport with that thing, you feel like the smartest human being on the planet. You're like,
Really?
all you guys are watching. Yeah. All you guys are sitting around like watching, CNN repeats about whatever, Donald Trump said yesterday.
What?
And meanwhile, I'm playing Zelda Breath of the Wild and just enjoying every second of being in the airport. So that was cool. I picked up ARMS, which is a new Switch release this past week. It's totally cool. It's a fighting game. Have you guys looked at this at all?
Oh, is this
No.
like the long punching one?
Yeah, so it's a fighting game, but it's not like combos or anything. Instead, you have super long springy arms. You can essentially throw your fist all the way across the arena. So it kind of turns into a game of anticipating where the person's going to be and trying to get your fist there before they punch you. And so it's really fun. I'm pretty bad at it because I'm bad at fighting games, but I'm having a good time with it so far. And it's got motion controls, and it's a very Nintendo-y kind of take on the fighter genre.
Is there a multiplayer component like you and I could play versus one another?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has online multiplayer, and it has just on the Switch multiplayer. So it's
Local.
pretty functional. Yeah, local. So you could, if somebody else has it who's sitting next to you. And that was the other cool thing about traveling with my Switch. I pulled it out on the last day of this class, and there are 20 other people taking the same class. And I was sitting in the lounge in the dorm playing Mario Kart, and somebody comes up, it's like, oh my gosh, is that Mario Kart? I'm like, yeah, you want to play? They're like, yeah, cool. And then somebody else walks by and like, oh my god, you have a Switch? I have a Switch too. And I'm like, no way, do you have Mario Kart? And
It was
like, yeah.
just like the commercial.
So, seriously, I can't even tell you how much like the commercial it was, because it was exactly the commercial. So in 10 minutes of me having pulled it out of my bag, there's 4 of us sitting there playing Mario Kart and swearing at each other about blue shells and stuff. It was
That's great.
it was amazing. It was fantastic.
I want one now.
I also picked up a game called Oxygen Not Included, which is the next Clay game after Don't
Clay?
Starve.
Oh.
Clay, K-L-E, I don't know how to say Clay, I think. Anyway, it's kind of their take on Dwarf Fortress. You guys ever played Dwarf Fortress?
Yeah, a little bit a while ago.
Okay, so this is like pretty deep nerddom. It's originally it was an ASCII 2 title, and it's base management, so build a base, keep the base running. But the cool part about Dwarf Fortress and Oxygen Not Included is the way that the systems interact. So you have to make sure that all your people are happy and that they're fed and that the lights are on, and the environment's trying to kill you. There aren't really any monsters to fight, but it's very much management, and that's kind of fun. Will, you're shaking your head, Will. Sorry.
If it's anything even remotely like Don't Starve, I would rather stab myself with this bottle opener.
What do you like?
Yeah, Will hates all video games.
like
I don't know why.
Are you just here to hate on video games?
He likes fun games.
I don't. We need to do a segment on this, like, new world avant-garde bullshit gaming thing that's going on in the world.
If Will, you know what?
Now is
Will,
not the time for it. Right now,
No,
we're
no,
talking
no.
about
Our
what we
bad
played
for liking
this week.
games that push
You're right.
boundaries and are
Right.
interesting and new.
no, we like to call Will's like the original gamer. He likes very
He likes
straightforward.
CS:GO and Doom.
I
and
am.
Quake.
I am.
All right,
Dan, that's actually a good way to describe it. I'm like an OG gamer. I like original gaming styles, like old school stuff. That's what I like. That's what does it for me.
Point the gun, shoot the guy dies.
So what have you been playing this week, Will?
Not a lot of anything. I'm moving, and while I'm moving, because it's free, I am staying with my folks. So I have been, for those of you who do not know, my father has a tri-monitor setup with a 180-degree viewing angle in Counter-Strike. I shit you not. So I've been watching my father play Counter-Strike, and he whips some ass at Counter-Strike for a 62-year-old man. It's badass. And he also just recently picked up PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and he's been trying that out. So I've been in the midst of moving. I don't have any of my shit hooked up or anything. So I haven't really been playing a lot of anything, but I've been watching him play these games. And it's been kind of fun. He's really good at Counter-Strike, and that's like his thing. And it's been interesting watching another person try to play a new game that is so far detached from the mechanics and rule sets that they're used to. It's interesting.
It's very different from Counter-Strike.
It is, because I know how I would approach a new game like that. You know, I would be very methodical and like reading up before I started to play and making sure I knew what was going on before I jumped into that. And he's more of just, let's hop in and see what happens, and you know, experiment as you go kind of thing. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. Now that I've got everything hooked back up, I think I'm going to hop into I don't know, this week I'll probably hop into some Overwatch and oldie but a goodie. And
Battlegrounds, go get it.
Well,
go get it.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
It's payday for me this week, and as you'll find out in the upcoming segment, I really want a PS4, but I also really want a Switch. So in the next segment, before we take the beer break, we need to decide what I'm purchasing.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, actually.
But before that, I just wanted to let you know, Will, that Ian, don't look at me like that. Steam sales this week, so you should wait until Thursday.
Okay, moving on to the next segment, for the love of God.
Oh my God, Ian just set Chris on fire with his mind. Everybody run.
Ow, 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 ow.
Actually, Chris, I did want to go to you first. So this segment is all about games within games. So sort of Inception gaming. That is, if you've ever been a character in a game, say, for example, pretty commonly GTA 5, and you're standing in a bar, and someone comes up and says, hey, you want to try and play darts? And then you find yourself actually playing a game of darts.
Why not go bowling?
Is the segment.
This is my cousin.
This is the segment for you, and it's funny because in thinking about this for me, these games are pretty not deep. Well, I shouldn't say universally. Sometimes they're not that deep, kind of like a lark, but for some reason we get attached to them. Even things like Gwent or Triple Triad, they're really not all that complicated, but because it's a game within a game, it sort of allows ourselves to immerse in the original game even more. So anyway, just wanted to set the table and then go immediately to Chris, who's talking about Gwent.
Fucking Gwent. And I'm so glad that they've already extracted it out to be a new game, but I thought it was fantastic in Witcher 3. I thought it was so much fun to play. It wasn't the most challenging all the time, but it was definitely a lot of fun. It had good mechanics. It had a good baseline of stuff to do. And like,
can you explain what those mechanics are? Because Gwent to me is a card game, but it's like basically a card game without rules, and I don't get it.
It has rules, and it's basically a lot of bluffing. So there's 3 rounds, and you have to win 2 out of the 3 rounds, and you have a limited amount of cards. So oftentimes you might bluff a lot in your first round to make it so your opponent uses a lot of cards in the first round, and then you kind of beat them in the second round and then coast in the third round. Or you might do something else, like you might crush them in the first round and then coast in the second round. And it's all based on putting different cards into different tiers. So like there's a frontline group, there's an archery group, and then an artillery group, and you can kind of cancel each other's lines out and stuff. I think it's really quite a deep card game if you can get into it, and I really got into it. Like at first when I started playing Witcher 3, I didn't pay much attention to it because I usually try not to do those things. I'm playing the game. I'm not playing the silly bullshit inside of it. But that really, once I started playing it, I really got sucked in to the point that I got like 2 real sets of Gwent cards. Like,
no way.
Yeah, dude, they're fucking great.
So wait, have you ever met anyone else who has Gwent cards that you've played Gwent with?
Yes, but like also it comes with 2 different decks. So I have like the Beast deck and the Beast deck, and I think the Scoia'tael deck. Yeah. So I have Scoia'tael, and so like the elves and the dwarves and the beast deck.
All right. So it's like, but that's like a card game.
Yeah. You didn't get into it?
No. Whenever I play games like that, I don't play the card game. There's so many. What are other card games? There's Gwent. Wasn't there one in Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah.
Kazakh, was there?
Kazakh?
Oh, Kazakh, you're right.
Yeah.
Pazak.
Pazak with a P.
Pazaak. I wasn't as into Pazak or Pazak or how you ever say it.
I feel like I've played so many games where there's just, also here's a card game for you to play, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go murder those people.
I think the thing about Gwent was that it had people that were in the game as the cards. So like Geralt was one of the most powerful cards because he's Geralt. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is neat, but that's incorporating. That's kind of gameception because it's incorporating a game into the game that's also
in the game,
parts of the game from the game.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The other thing that I really liked was there was a game mode in, I think it started in Halo 3 or Halo 4.
I think it was Halo 2.
Was it Halo 2?
I think it was Halo 2.
I'm going to find out real quick. Anyways, Griffball. Griffball was one of the best game modes ever because it was so dumb and so silly, but so much fun. And like, I don't know. I've always really enjoyed Griffball. I don't know if you guys played much Griffball.
No. You have to explain what Griffball is.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Rooster Teeth also. Great entertainment company. Great YouTube channels. Achievement Hunter.
I was about to ask, is Griffball modeled after Red versus Blue?
Yes. Well, It's not modeled after it. Basically,
it's made by two guys from Rooster Teeth.
Okay, cool.
In the Red versus Blue series, there was a character named Griff who was on the red team who was yellow. So whenever you were playing Griffball, there was a blue team and a red team, and whenever you would get the ball, you would turn yellow. So it was called Griffball. And then the idea, because in Red versus Blue, Griff is an idiot, and they want to punch him all the time or kill him all the time. So you want to kill Griff or get Griff into the end zone. It was kind of interesting because they created it kind of as a joke, and then it just exploded. Everybody started playing it, and whenever it became I remember when it became a real
mode,
game mode. Yeah. In Halo, it was Halo 3, by the way, and man, I love playing Griffball, dude.
Dude, it's so much fun. It's so ridiculous, and it's so satisfying because I think they turned the gravity hammers all the way up, so they do like maximum damage. So you just get like the most satisfying gravity hammer kills ever.
Smashing people with big hammers. That's all you got to ask for.
Will, what about you? What do you do with games and games?
My favorite of all time, Golden Saucer, Final Fantasy VII.
The Gold Saucer.
The Gold Saucer. First of all, it's the first experience I ever can remember having with the game within a game sort of thing. And there's so much to do there, and you don't have to do any of it. The game doesn't force you to do it. The game doesn't even say, hey, if you do this, you're going to get some cool shit. You just can do it, and you can get cool shit if you do the right things. And there's so much to do. There's shit I don't even remember. There's snowboarding. There's like a basketball thing or a slam dunk thing, if I remember correctly. There's a ghost thing through there. There's the battle arena.
I think that tower defense thing is in there, too.
No, the tower defense was at Cosmo Canyon. That is not...
Right.
But that's also
is
part
that
of Final Fantasy VII. No, it's part of Final Fantasy VII.
But is it part of Gold... I don't think that's part of Gold Saucer, though.
It's not part of Gold Saucer, but I don't think the snowboarding is part of Gold Saucer either.
Is it not?
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Snowboarding
is
for sure, yeah.
I was a kid when that game came out, and when I got to the Gold Saucer portion, I just played that stuff for fun. I didn't realize that if I did well enough at that, I was going to get stuff that, in some cases, majorly affected the rest of the gameplay, the story-driven gameplay and the narrative. And it was just so much fun. It was nice to have that there, but for it to not be a requirement. And the games were short and sweet and engaging, and that's what I like in a game within a game within a game.
Yeah, something that kind of adds to it, but isn't necessarily necessary.
I think that's kind of necessary, though, that it adds to the narrative. I've played so many games where there are just casinos. Like, oh, hey, there's a casino also. You want to go play blackjack for a while? No, I don't want to do that. I'd want to go kill some guys, like I said before.
I think I was thinking about why mini games exist in regular games, or why these things exist, especially in long form Japanese RPGs. A lot of times is where you find these, or long form RPGs. Now, The Witcher, where are they? It's like Project Red is like Scandinavian or something.
They're Polish.
Okay, and I think the reason is that these games are so deep and they're so involved, and a lot of times the narratives are so serious that you kind of need a palate cleanser, or else they end up walking away from the game. So it's something that the developers can use to keep people engaged in that title, while not necessarily, in the terms of Final Fantasy VII, digging deeper into Cloud's self-hatred or finding out why Barrett has so many trust issues or why Geralt can't nail down a relationship. You know what I mean? Those are big ideas. They're heavy ideas. And a lot of times, playing a Pac-Man or a card game in between can sort of get you out of that for a second while keeping you inside the game. So that's what I think.
That's a good point. It is a break from all that bombardment of seriousness.
I think also it just adds another level of realism. Like, obviously, if you go to a tavern, there's probably going to be some sort of game going on in the tavern, inherently.
That makes sense.
I think that there's a good way and a bad way to do it. Like, if they just had some bullshit blackjack game in The Witcher 3, or like they had a dice game in previous Witchers and they just weren't satisfying.
Yeah, it was just something to do.
It was just there.
It's another type of gameception because it's kind of, if you're bored in real life, you go to play the game. So you get bored in the game. So then you go play another game in the game.
But it's boring.
It's like, what's happening here?
So it's fulfilling that need without you having to leave the game.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, and it makes it feel more like you're that person.
It's like a Second Life sort of ideal.
So, Dan, you never really got into any of these things. Ever? You never really got into a minigame? Blitzball?
Blitzball, I kind of got obsessed with that when I was playing Final Fantasy X, because if I didn't win it the first time, whenever there's the tournament that you go to, and if I didn't win, I got really upset because I was like, I should be the best. This character should be the best. I should be the best Blitzball player there is.
The best around.
So I always like that kind of stuff. But
you down.
Yeah, Karate Kid. My name is Daniel, after all. Yeah, but I don't know. Would we also? This is a question I put on the script because I'm wondering, does this count? Would Mario Party, is that something that you classify as games within a games? Because that's just like I guess that's just a party.
I mean, that's
game.
its whole premise.
Games. I thought about that too. Game. Like, maybe if there was a specific Mario Party game that you loved a lot. I also thought the other thing that came to mind for me was
shake up the soda. I like to shake up the soda a lot.
We know
just
you like
shake
to
up that
That's
soda.
like all the Pokemon
very strong
Stadium
forearms.
games.
The other thing I thought about in terms of that was WarioWare. Did you guys ever play WarioWare?
I never did.
It's brilliant and it's so well executed, but it's gaming ADD like crazy.
Literally, because you only get 3 seconds to do each one.
Yeah, it's a new mini game every 3 to 5 seconds or whatever, and you have just to slam through it. But there is something that I got real into. I got really into the chocobo racing in Final Fantasy VII. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I have super fond memories of fishing in Link's Awakening for Game Boy.
Yeah.
That was the one in Ocarina of Time. I remember doing that one a lot.
Getting the weighted lure.
Excited about that.
Yeah, so fishing and certain things, but the biggest thing, and I had completely forgotten about this until I started doing a little bit of research into this topic. Tekken bowling. Did you guys ever do Tekken bowling?
No,
I did not.
I didn't even know
that
was a
Tekken.
thing.
I wasn't a Tekken person.
Okay, so first of all, I used to play a lot of Tekken. PlayStation 2 and PlayStation. I was actually into Tekken, like into fighting games. And since I have seen the light and no longer am good at them, or for some reason I just suck at them now. But I used to play a lot of Tekken Tag Bowling, so it's literally you just Tekken character bowling. That's it. That's the amazing entire premise of the game. Okay. And sometimes the pins are characters from the game or whatever, but that's there's nothing else to it. It's just bowling. I think I probably played as much Tekken bowling as I did actual Tekken.
That's awesome.
Now I think about it.
Well, you might have you seen on the Switch they're coming out with Pokken Tournament 2? Have you played the original Pokken Tournament?
No, I didn't. It's not 2. It's DX, so it's a remaster plus edition.
Re-release.
Yeah, I did see that. I did not play the original Pokken Tournament because I don't have a DS. So
gotcha. So now's your chance. Yeah. Pokemon,
I know,
Tekken.
But I'm bad.
It's like you're 8 again,
now.
and everything's
I thought it was
the
on
best.
Wii U.
It may be coming out for both, but it is coming to Switch for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that. The one thing I was thinking of whenever you started talking about that is Will's hatred, Legend of Zelda, because we both said that fishing part from it.
Zelda. I just haven't
played
I
remember that you did.
All I hear is just Will saying, I hate Zelda all the time.
I hate this. I hate that.
You know what? I love Pac-Man. I love that one with I love Snake. I liked playing that on my Motorola phone. That's what I liked doing. I'm just kidding, Will. I love you.
He's going to kill you with that sword behind him.
He is. He does have Excalibur, so I should be very careful.
Oh, wow, that's really heavy. That's like a real sword.
Is it like a real sword or is it a real sword?
It's like a real sword.
All right. Well, before Will murders us all with his sword, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about our responses to E3, and we'll check in on our beer. Hello and welcome back to the Game Brew Podcast. This is episode 006. We're coming back from break, and I just wanted to check in with the beer real quick. How's it sitting on the palate, gentlemen?
Moist.
It's moist.
Don't you say that word.
We're not going down the moist road again. We did that last episode. We're gonna leave moist alone.
Like any beer, it gets better the more you have.
Except for that watermelon beer that Ian had that one time. That did not get better the more you had.
Progressively worse. It's true.
No, I like it. I'm
It's
out.
kind of like Heroes.
And I really want another one, but I've had half a 6-pack, and I have some self-respect, so...
For those of you who are not math inclined, half a 6-pack is 3 beers.
No, I like it.
All right.
I like it. It gets smoother as you drink it. You become accustomed to the taste, and the bitterness starts to go away, and you start to get more of that citrus flavor coming through, and it's much smoother as you get deeper into it. And I enjoy it. It's not bad.
So
Yeah, it's nice.
So let's talk about E3, guys. Or should I say half a 6-pack? Oh, Dan, what was your response to the big week this week?
One, I thought Nintendo killed it. That was my takeaway from E3. Usually, you like to pick who was the winner. There's no real winner. It's E3, but it's like
we all win.
Usually, for the last few years, it's kind of been like, hey, here's all these big announcements, and then there's also Nintendo, but
playing by itself in the corner.
Yeah. But this year, I mean, they got a whole lot. I mean, I had a couple of buddies of mine texting me. They were like, "Dude, did you see Nintendo's press conference about stuff at E3?" I was like, "No, I'm at work. I didn't get a chance to see." They're like,
anything.
Oh my gosh!
Anything in particular that really spoke to you about Nintendo?
Actually, probably the biggest thing to me was that they're going to support Rocket League on the Switch. I thought that was really awesome. Nintendo tends to be a little bit Nintendo-centric. Whenever they add that, kind of third-party stuff onto there, it's multi-console games. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be something that is multi-platform for them, I think. And that's going to be pretty
That's
neat.
a big deal for Nintendo. That was about to be my question.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to play cross-platform with that? So
Yes.
that's awesome.
Yep. They're going to be doing Skyrim too.
Yeah, I saw that.
You can play as
Skyrim's-
Link in Skyrim.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Well, you can play with Link clothes in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Here's my issue with the Nintendo lineup at E3. We didn't really see Metroid Prime 4. We saw
But it's coming.
a title screen.
That's a
but
big
it's coming.
deal.
Okay. It's a big deal that it's coming, but it should already have happened. And so we got a re-release in Rocket League. We have a re-release in Skyrim. And then we have essentially two big Mario games, and that was it from Nintendo, unless I'm forgetting something big.
What I saw was that basically every aspect of all of their IPs are coming to the Switch. Like they have stuff coming.
No. Pokemon is not coming to the Switch.
Pokemon is coming to the Switch.
Pokemon is coming to the
No,
Switch.
Pokemon is not coming to the Switch.
It is.
Yeah, they're
There's a
putting the
yet-to-be-named
Pokemon on.
Pokemon
It's being
RPG.
developed. Yeah, and it's being developed by Game Freaks, if I'm not mistaken, who is the original
Yep.
creators.
Did we
Yeah.
see a trailer?
No, but they announced it. It'll get
I
there.
don't
It'll get there eventually. They promised
I'm worried.
a Zelda for the Wii U. We eventually got
Remember
it.
whenever PlayStation, or remember whenever Sony was like, or I'm sorry, Square Enix was like, hey, guess what? Final Fantasy VII Remake. And we were just like, what?
Yay! 5 years ago.
Yeah, that only took half
That
a
wasn't
decade.
5 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
But
I
it's
think.
still happening. I mean, it's still happening. It's in development. So, you still got to take it. It's still press releases.
But like
so it's
also
still-
Game Freak is really good about getting their stuff out.
Right. Yeah.
I'm worried that the big Nintendo titles aren't going to make it to the Switch in time for everybody to still be excited about Switch. They have a limited window where the Switch is going to be cool, and inside of that window, they're releasing a new Pokemon game for DS. they're releasing a new Monster Hunter game for DS, and those are huge titles for Nintendo, and neither of them is coming to the Switch. And
to be fair,
I am
the
personally
DS game
a
is
little
just a
bit
rehash.
upset. What?
The 3DS game is a rehash, I believe. It's just Sun and Moon again.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that for the Switch.
Sorry.
But I'd rather, with a Switch, I don't have one, but I'd rather have my new game for the Switch. I don't want a rehash of something for the Nintendo Switch because it does have much better capabilities.
I agree. It's a new console. I want new shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different platform.
I agree. I want the new shit too. I just want it now. I think they're making a mistake not having more of that ready to go right away.
Well, they had their big game with Zelda, and they're still sitting on that. That's a huge game.
Sure, but you can't ride on that forever.
No, but you can ride on that for a good 6 months.
Do you think that's just slow development, or do you think that's Nintendo just not having enough developers on board?
Yeah, I think that's Nintendo not having enough stuff in the pipe during the time when they are making the Switch. So now that the Switch is popular, I'm sure all these people want to get on board and write code for it and write games for it. But while the Switch was still, we don't know if this is going to be good or not, is the concept going to work? Are people going to buy into it, or is it just going to be a big flop like the Wii U? People stayed away. And so now that they've released the console and they had one big game, ARMS is pretty good, but it's not like a fully featured. It's kind of like a Rocket League type featured game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's going to be a full Super Mario game coming out in October.
Yeah, but there's always a full Super Mario game for every Nintendo thing.
I would contest that should have been a launch title.
No. You know what Nintendo needs to stand out from the pack? They need a Last of Us on the Switch. That's what
they already
need.
have it.
No,
They have Breath of the Wild. That's bigger than The Last of Us.
Wii U as well.
So
I could go spend half the money, pick up a Wii U, and have the gaming experience. I'm saying they need a truly unique experience just on that console.
They'll probably have it in Super Mario Odyssey. And and honestly, I think a lot of people are afraid enough of Wii U being nothing anymore to let Breath of the Wild be a Switch game. But your point's well taken. I think they need a stronger roster. As good as Breath of the Wild is, because it is fantastic. But anyway, so anything else, Dan, that caught your fancy?
Two other things. Basically, there were three main points because I talked about them all with my friend Scott. Shout out to Scott. He listens to the podcast.
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, one of them is we said that the Xbox One X that Microsoft said that they're going to release is a dumb name and that they should have kept it as Scorpio.
I agree.
Because
they wanted to make it Xbox, though.
Yeah, they just wanted to make it Xbox, which is
That's
dumb.
3 X's.
It's
XBOX. No. Xbox One X.
Xbox One X. Xbox.
Triple
but
X.
it is going to be pretty powerful. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
6 teraflop GPU, 12 gigs of DDR5 RAM. It's going to be really powerful. That's better than the PS4 Pro.
Definitely.
And that's pretty nice. I don't understand why Destiny 2 is only going to run at 30 frames per second whenever it's on that system. But, that's whatever.
The reason it's going to be doing that is because it's going to be running at 4K. Like, if you think about what runs at 4K, to run at 4K 30 isn't as hard as 4K 60, obviously. But basically, the GPU that's in the Scorpio Xbox One X is a GTX 580, roughly. So if you think about video cards that are within that range, they could all do 4K 30 frames per second.
Chris, that's why I like you, is because you explain to me why I'm stupid.
You're not stupid.
Why the things make sense.
I agree, though. I think it's a mistake for gamers to rely on 4K. Maybe it's just me to rely on 4K more than 60 frames per second. I think more people would rather play and rather have the capability to have 1080p 60 frames than a 4K 30 frames.
Yep.
Especially with a first-person shooter.
Yeah, but 4K is such a buzzword.
They might sell consoles to the masses, but they're not going to light any huge gamers on fire.
4K are like Magnum condoms. It's like, yeah, that would be nice, but do you really need that? No, you probably don't. I mean, seriously, I'm with Ian on this one.
Yeah.
I would much rather have, my fluidity and amazing looking graphics because of
a beautiful resolution that looks choppy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last thing is that I just had a nostalgia-gasm whenever I saw that Shadow of the Colossus getting a remaster.
Yeah.
My God.
I will get that probably.
I was just like, yes. I don't care if I know the ending of everything.
Are they going to do Ico as well, or just Shadow of the Colossus?
I don't know. Shadow of the Colossus was a bigger title than Ico.
Well, yeah, but Ico was the first one.
Yeah,
and
true.
that's PS4 exclusive, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I really got to buy that PS4.
They're working me hard. I want a PS4 now.
Yep, me too.
There's a ton of really good PS4. Xbox doesn't have the exclusive titles like PS4 does.
So Will, what lit you on fire there at E3?
Good timing, because at the end of this conversation, we're going to decide whether I'm buying a Switch or a PS4 this weekend because it's pay weekend.
Or you could save money for your computer.
Yeah, that's it.
Just throwing that out there.
Or I could get something now and be happy like any red-blooded American.
Red-blooded American?
Yeah, that's what I...
Like
a baboon?
Like a baboon?
Yeah.
I've had 3 beers. Leave me alone. I've had half a six-pack. Leave me alone.
He's got half a six.
That's 3 beers.
Okay.
That's this many. All right. So I, in no particular order, was most excited from E3 of Anthem. I like the concept of Destiny, but I'm not a fan of Bungie games.
Okay,
don't like
hold
Halo?
on. Back up real quick. Tell us about Anthem. What is this?
Anthem is Destiny from BioWare, to put it very, very simply. And that's
right, but there's jetpacks and flying,
there's jetpacks and flying,
exosuits,
and there's over-the-shoulder cameras, and it's BioWare. I mean, that's not far off of a reasonable analogy. It is very Destiny-ish, but it's got a BioWare flair to it, and
to be fair, BioWare is not the same company it used to be a couple years ago.
This is true, but
shots fired.
I like BioWare, and I identify and enjoy BioWare's proof of concept and application of concepts more than I do Bungie's. I just don't get into Bungie things. They're very hokey to me. There's not a lot of depth to them for me.
You didn't like Halo?
I mean, Halo was fun, but no, the implementation just didn't grab me like a BioWare game does. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that it's a Destiny-ish, MMO-ish game that I can get into and have some fun with. Hidden Agenda, PS4 exclusive. I am so excited for that. That's kind of like a Walking Dead-ish game. Have you guys seen this? Did you see the?
No,
Yeah,
I haven't even heard of it.
I looked a little bit about it. That's the same company that did Until Dawn, isn't it?
I believe so. But so Hidden Agenda is a game that they're marketing as something that you should play on the couch with a bunch of your friends. And your smartphones are the controllers, and everybody has some sort of a play in the decision making of what happens in the narrative. It's sort of like everybody votes, or at certain times maybe only this person gets to decide what the action is. So it's a group story driven narrative, somewhat akin to the way Telltale games are a single person driven narrative.
It kind of sounds like if Jackbox Games did a Telltale like game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy, actually.
Yeah, did you watch any of the E3 videos and stuff they had for the game there?
I did, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because the one thing that they said was they watched a lot of the videos and Let's Plays and online collaborations of people playing Until Dawn. It is Supermassive Games who did Until Dawn. And they said, yeah, we watched that and we noticed that they were playing with groups of people, and the groups were deciding what to do, not just the person playing. So they decided that they was like, hey, let's incorporate that into something.
That's really cool.
And see what happens.
I think it's awesome, and I'm excited just to experience that kind of gameplay. Earlier we talked about I like old school game things, and I do, but when it has a good narrative, I'm open to new ways of exploring that narrative, and I think that would be a great way to sit down with some good friends and have a really good, a really good time playing a game together.
Anything else, real quick, Will?
Battlefront 2. I mean, what are you gonna say? It's Battlefront. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll get it. I'll play it. There you go. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Get it right.
So I'll
Branding.
get that. Days Gone. You can look it up, but it's sort of marketed as Last of Us-ish. And if it's even half as good as Last of Us, it'll be worth every damn penny. It'll be so good.
It looks really cool. I like the trailer.
Oh, yeah, it looks excellent. So that and Hidden Agenda are two major things, in addition to many others that are on my list of reasons to buy a PS4 this weekend.
Chris?
Bethesda did a really cool way of presenting their stuff with their Bethesda Land thing. And it kind of had like a map of Bethesda Land, and it was all like their different IPs laid out like kind of a Disneyland type thing. So I was kind of like, oh, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's going to be some new IP. And there's been like talk of this new space IP kind of taking the place of Mass Effect that they're working on. Supposedly, it's rumored. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. They always kind of get me excited for that and for their thing. And I was really let down. Like, they didn't really do anything.
They built you up and then they
built me up and gave me
down.
nothing. Like, the really only big thing they revealed was Wolfenstein.
But dude, Skyrim VR.
Cool. You mean Fallout 4 VR?
Fallout 4 VR you talking about?
Oh, is that... Wait, I thought... Was the Skyrim VR not...
No, it was Skyrim
E3?
Switch. It was Fallout 4 VR.
Oh.
Pretty sure.
Which also would be pretty cool.
Well,
you know?
I mean, yeah, that'd be cool too. But like, it's just like I was waiting for some new IP or like some mention of something else, and they showed off the fact that they did a new release of Morrowind.
Yeah, Skyrim VR was at E3.
Was it?
That was there
that's my
too?
bad.
Okay.
But like, this is like the 6th or 7th time we've heard about Skyrim being on something. Like, come on.
Exactly.
We get it. You're milking the shit out of it. We got it.
It's good,
Like,
but I'm tired of
it's
hearing
great.
about
It's
Skyrim.
a great game. It's from
tired
2011.
of it.
It's a 6-year-old game.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That's old.
It's old as shit. It's great, but it's old as shit.
E3 was a little VR heavy with a lot of stuff.
Well, of course it was VR heavy.
This year. I mean, there's a lot of VR venues, yeah. So that makes it, but sometimes it's just like, how many VR ports of games that exist can there be before it's just like, okay.
I think it's part of the VR cycle. I think eventually, once VR is strong enough to stand on its own, it won't be a bunch of ports. But I think until it is,
Once VR is cheap enough,
Yeah,
too.
it's real expensive. So
I think
Yeah, the barrier of entry is really high.
What's the thing?
So-
I don't want VR because I don't want ports. If there were enough original things that were really, really unique experiences, I'd pick one up.
If I had a VR headset, I would play Skyrim VR or Fallout 4 VR.
I wouldn't even bother. See, I could experience that on my good shit. Why do I need to re-experience that in VR?
Because it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, but it wasn't built for VR, and that's my point.
and it's not a completely different experience. It's a different viewpoint,
Yes.
sure, but it's the same content when you get down to it.
Sure.
So, in my review of E3, I think for me, owning a Switch, Super Mario Odyssey looks incredible.
It looks so silly. With
So
the hats.
excited for it to be out. Yeah. And
Is that me wearing a hat
and
right now?
It is. No, it's not. Mario.
nobody can see. Ian's wearing a Mario hat right now. He's going, it's
With
me,
eyes.
Ian."
I drew a mustache on my face. The other thing was Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. When I originally heard about this, I was thinking bad things because I am not into Rabid Rabbits at all. But this game is Mario as XCOM, and that is super fun.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds really
So it's
cool,
sort of-
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of continuing that tradition that started with Super Mario RPG, where it's Mario doing things that aren't platformy. And Super Mario RPG is great, and so I'm hoping this will be great too. And then the last thing that I'm not the last, there's kind of a litany of things here that I'm looking forward to, but Absolver, have you guys followed this game at all?
Nope.
I feel like I've heard of it.
So Absolver is an open world. I don't want to say massively multiplayer. It's sort of massively multiplayer in the kind of way that Destiny is massively multiplayer. It's sectioned off a little bit, but it's a fighting game instead of it. You know what it reminds me of, Dan? It reminds me of The Bouncer. So it's a fighting.
Oh, yes.
It's a fighting game
Yes.
where you can travel around and you get your own loot and you can create your own combo systems, and it's just totally customizable. It looks very deep, really neat art style. It's a little bit pared down. It looks a little bit like if Tekken and Journey had a love child.
I believe
And
I
it's
saw
very cool.
this. I think I saw some of this at PAX East.
You probably did. They've been having a pretty open development. I remember seeing video from this game maybe as early as the end of 2015 or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was like 2 years ago. I'm looking at screenshots now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember reading about this.
Yeah.
Screenshots
because-
look fantastic.
I mean, go look at some of the gameplay. It looks really, really cool. So that looks like it's going to be great. Marvel's Spider-Man looks like it's going to be incredible, and I've been dying for a great Spider-Man game since forever.
Me too. But like, is that going to? That's like the Superman game. Is it really going to happen?
All right, Superman is never going to be in a good video game
because he's not he's not a good superhero.
Whoa!
Okay.
We're gonna put a lid on that and come back to it another time because that is way too much to address.
Oh my gosh, guys! I just saw we lost half the listeners.
And
my brother went to bed.
And then Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So this is the sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest. Those of you who played that Xbox exclusive Metroidvania platformer game, and which was incredible. It had a really beautiful story, great soundtrack, excellent art design, lots of bloom effects. And the next one
is that the key? Like that's what makes it really good is when there's lots of bloom effects.
It's all about the bloom effects. But it was a really great Metroidvania platformer. All of the abilities felt really special. You felt powered up every time. There was always something new to explore. And so I'm looking forward to what that team does with the new game because they certainly deserve it. So that was me.
All right.
I'll look into that because I really liked Ori and the Blind Forest.
I've actually never played it, but I need to.
Really?
It was a solid.
I recommend it. Get on that. Get on it.
Get on that shit.
Get down on
All right, well, that's it for E3. We're going to move on to our news quiz segment. Ba-da-ba-bow!
News quiz music. News quiz music.
News quiz music.
Welcome to the news quiz segment of the podcast. This is a section of the show where I'll ask contestants about topics from this past week's gaming news. Whoever answers the most questions wins. Dan is our champion from last week, so he will go last. So Will is up first. Will, you have 30 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here we go. This legacy video gaming brand announced past week that it will be building a new console.
Atari.
That's correct. Nintendo Switch got an update this week that helps users find lost
the
Joy-Cons by doing
controllers through vibration.
That's correct. This blockbuster first-person shooter remaster gets a release on June 27th.
Call of Duty.
That's correct. Good job. Crytek showed off this new IP at E3, showing a creepy, tactical, asymmetrical first-person shooting.
I don't know. That's not Hunt Showdown, is it?
It is. That is correct. Will, you answered all 4 questions correctly.
Damn right.
Okay, let's reset the timer. Dan, you have 30 seconds to answer 4 or more questions correctly. If you tie...
4 or more? Okay.
Yeah, we'll go to a lightning round.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
You're the reigning champion, so I just want to give you a second here if you need to take a breath.
No, it's great. I'm half a 6-pack in, so I mean, it's
That's 3 beers.
3 beers.
This stressful, gloomy dungeon crawler got a big DLC this week featuring a new character class, new environments, and tons of new stuff for your characters to die from.
Darkest Dungeon?
That is correct. This mega hit early release first-person shooter Battle Royale title will be getting a new weapon in its monthly update.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
This undead-loving, demon-hating character is making a triumphant return to Tristram this next week.
Oh, crap.
5 seconds.
Oh, crap. It's Necromancer?
That is correct. Dan, you've answered 3 questions correctly, and Will, you answered 4 questions correctly. Will is our new champion.
Damn it. Just because I couldn't, in my head, I was just like, I know what Tristram is. Why can't I remember what it's from? Oh, damn it.
Good job, Dan. It's okay.
Oh, it's fine.
You'll be back on top soon.
I'm just going to go finish the
finish
whatever,
the other half of the
slightly more than
six-pack,
half a 6-pack.
which would be,
I'll finish
that means you have 3 beers left.
Oh my gosh, thanks, Will.
Oh, man. Thanks for checking in with us here at the Game Brew Podcast. You can find us online at facebook.com/TheGameBrew, on Instagram or Twitter at TheGameBrew, at www.thegamebrew.com, and on iTunes and Google Play or your favorite podcast distributor. Thanks again for checking in with us, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
In the bag.
And
In the bag.
And I'm hitting the stop button
Stop.
now.
also on iTunes and Google Play, or your favorite podcast distributor for so figure where. Hey guys, I'm gonna do take 3.